Hello, everybody. This is Miss T. Hope everybody is doing well um, and getting along with life. I have a lot of things in my head that I want to talk about. Um, so I'm going to have to pick one thing and talk about that because if I try to put it all together, this will be very, very long. So I'm going to start with this. There has been so many disturbing stories in the news about our young black girls, our babies, being abused and then unalived. Um, and what's more disturbing is that the people that are supposed to love them, take care of them, their mothers, their grandmothers, their aunts, whoever, are helping with the abuse. So there's a lot of things mixed up in that. There's some women that don't have self-esteem that they would allow a man that they know is a child predator into their life and do things to kids around them because they want to hold on to that person. And so I'm very upset with the fact that women think so are starting to take on the mindset of these predators. Why would you want to be with a man who, first of all, preys on little girls, second of all, that are preying on your family members, your young family members, and then I don't get it. All I can say is the devil is working triple time, quadruple time, because this absolutely it's evil in all forms. I've been watching the Naziah case and learned, how she was, how this man was allowed to have his way with her whenever he wanted to at the age of 11, 12. I believe her family knew full well that he was doing this to her, and they just turned the other way. Now, I know that in some families that's a history. There's a history of abuse, and it gets passed down from generation to generation. So supposedly, I guess, that the mothers, which would be the grandmother, had been abused in that way. So probably, or maybe, I'm not going to say probably, in her mindset, she felt, well, it happened to me, I'm okay, she'll be fine, or it happened to me, nobody saved me, whatever it is. There is no way that you should know that a man is taking advantage of your child in your home and let that be okay. And now she is unalived, which they believe because they can't find her. But she has been gone for a year, a little over a year, because this man got her pregnant. So you're the predator, the evil, horrible man who dates all these women who have little girls so that you can do things to their kids, to their daughters. And because you're going to be found out if this baby has that baby, you decided to end her life so you won't go to prison or jail. This is why I don't understand. You would get you would go to jail. If she would have just had the baby and they would have said found out it was yours, you would have went to jail. Yeah. I don't know for how long, might have been a long time. But since now you're on trial for first degree premeditated murder, oops, I'm not supposed to say that, unaliving, you're probably going to spend the rest of your life in prison, or I don't know if they have the death penalty, but it just doesn't make any sense. What do you think was going to happen? Did you think people were just going to be like, she's gone, wonder where she went, wonder what happened to her? But listen, people, her aunt, which is the girlfriend of the man, and the mother, her mother, which is the grandma, covered it up. They were telling people she ran away, that she probably ran away with some little boy. So you were willing to protect this man. What's going on with the world? I know God is looking down and he's like, I promised that I would allow everybody to hear the word. And I'm still holding to that. But I know that he has put those angels in those 4 spaces, and they're just holding on, ready to release the winds. They might even got just a pinch of it. They're ready to end this, because we hear about stuff. We may see things, but God sees everything. People say, why does God let these things happen? He's not letting them happen. This is this is sin, and because of sin, it trickles down into everything that's a part of the world. And so things are happening because of that. People are taking on reprobate minds. People aren't they're being born without things that they need in their mind, in their brain, that keeps them from doing things, or that keeps them from understanding what this means, or if you do this is what. It's running rampant. There's nothing new under the sun, first of all, but it's just becoming more rampant. Like I said, I've heard there has been a case in the news almost every day or every other day about little girls going missing, finding out that they're being assaulted at home, and that the person that they're being assaulted by doesn't want to get caught or doesn't want to be in trouble. So let me get rid of my problem that you caused, because this is a child that doesn't know. They know right from wrong, but that you groomed, that you told, made them feel like that they were loved with you. Because if you have a child in a home who is not being shown any kind of attention, you're ignoring her or him, they're not getting told that they're smart and beautiful, or they can be anything in life, you best believe somebody else is telling them, and you don't want that somebody else telling them. We don't understand is that home is the first place, it's the first school, it's the first therapist, it's the first doctor, it's the first church, it's everything. What you do to your kids can make or break them when they're grown. And why not give them the best start that you can give them? You brought them into the world. I know there's a lot of women who shouldn't be mothers, but I just don't understand how you can look in your child's eyes. There's been cases. What is this? Leaving the kids home alone for days, and they're living in squalor while you're staying with your boyfriend, and he should be charged too, because if he knows you have children, yeah, he should be in trouble. I don't know if I could have talked about this before. I don't know. The one mother who left her kid, which I'm finding it hard to believe that she had family and left her kids alone for 4 years, and nobody in the family thought to didn't think about them, didn't go see them or talk to them or call them or anything. So that needs to be investigated, because I don't see how you don't even call your grandchild or your niece and nephew on their birthday or bring over a present or anything. These kids sat in that apartment for 4 years, did not go outside. She would bring or have someone bring food to the porch. Sometimes it was a loaf of bread. And then she would go on and live her best life and take pictures of herself and twerk and do whatever she wanted to do while her kids were at home suffering. And she must have put the fear of everything they know in them, because they did not, you know how your mother says, I'm going to go to the store, don't you dare open this door. They would not open that door, and they would not go outside. They didn't have running water, and they began to use this tub as it's awful. I don't this is some mind-blowing things. Who thinks of this kind of stuff? What mother says, I'm going to just leave my kids here, I'm going to go live somewhere else, live my life, they're not going to go to school, not even go to once a week and fill up the refrigerator. I don't I don't understand. And then there's just some mothers who blatantly unalive their kids, right off. They don't want their kids. And so I heard the story about the mother who thought she was putting her baby in the crib, and she put him in the oven. That's her defense. I don't know. But these fathers, I have some words for you men too, because I had a good conversation this morning with Big B. If you know him, go over to his channel. He's a good guy. And we were talking about men and women and the blatant disrespect that men have for women. And I don't know when that started. Like I said, men don't even feel like they have to be gentlemen that, like opening doors or just anything. We're horrible names. We do horrible things. We're not worth nothing but to lay down in the bed and just I don't know when this trend started that there just has been hatred towards black women. And it's only black women. Because they will always, say I go into the other race because they're better. But I don't think people fully understand. This is just slavery has followed us. You can say no, because I wasn't there, but it has followed us from each generation to generation. If you don't believe me, go back and learn about your heritage, learn about the people that you came from, learn about the people who fought and died to have rights to be able to overcome, and then we just sit back here and reap the little bit of benefits that we had from them, and just go at one another. That was designed. That's the plan, and we're just going with the plan. Women, I know that some of you are damaged beyond, you don't know how great you are. And so you act accordingly to how you feel. A man doesn't make you a good woman. It doesn't make you a good person. You're already there. You just don't know yet. You need to work on yourself. You need to love yourself before you can love a man. Because if you don't love yourself, if you get a man who doesn't love himself, y'all going to be just two toxic people hurting each other. He's going to try to make you feel low and like you have nothing, and like if you let him go, you're never going to have anybody else, and you try to do everything you can do to keep him, so you would probably do stuff that you would never ever do in your life, or said you would never ever do in your life. But I'm not bashing all women and all men, because there are good people in everything, every race, every gender, or whatever. I'm just talking about the ones, if you're listening to this and you're looking at yourself like, is she talking about me, or does this sound like, then that's who I'm talking to. It's not too late for you. You can get yourself together. You can change. You can find someone who is going to love you for you, or maybe not. Maybe there's not. I've come to the conclusion, if he doesn't send me a husband, he's telling me I don't need one, I'm not supposed to have one here. Maybe I'll have one in heaven. I don't know how heaven works. But since he's telling me, or I feel that I don't need one, I don't even think about it. I don't think about, I wish I had a man that we could go to the movies or something. I don't even think about it. In my life, I don't want all the pressure and the expectations and all that kind of thing. I guess my how I get my joy, or how I get whatever, is to help other people. That's the only thing, because I wish somebody would have helped me. I wish there was somebody there that I could talk to, or I did have my grandma. I've told you guys about my grandmother before. She taught me how to be a good person, as far as don't steal and don't lie and don't do this and don't do that. Be a person of your word, stand up for yourself and all that stuff. But there was a time that I felt that, I wasn't loved in my family, and my mother didn't love me, and that can push you to. So I know where women who act like this, where they're getting it from. I could have went the other way. I could have been like, I'm no good, I'm not, and just fell into other things. But by the grace of God, I had the love of God. When I found God, nothing else mattered. He has shown me so many times that he loved me, that I am worth it, that I am a good person, but he also says that we need to help those that are in the same way. That's why I keep in my head, but for the grace of God go I. So if there's a person on the street and doesn't have gloves or socks, I don't have a problem with doing that, because it could be me. It could be me. It could be you. If we all had that mentality, the world would be so much better. We're too busy trying to be, with the society. We're all placed in a category for everything. We're either upper class, lower class, middle class. They put us in a class. They tell us we're either A student, a D. So we're always in some kind of class that we're trying to get on top of. And I know everybody thinks money is the answer for everything, and yes, you need money to live. But do you think God loves you any bit more if you're rich and you're on top than the person who is down here and has nothing? No. You might just be looking for accolades from other people. I don't know. But that's not, when you find out what life is really about, all those things do not matter. I know that we are all, we look at these stories, or we hear these stories, and some of us get emotional. Some people are just numb. We've seen this one too many times, and and it doesn't affect us. But if you can sit and watch it and then turn it off and start, every time I see this, I'm like, how do we get involved? How do people start getting involved to stop this from happening? And I think it comes from, while Trump is signing all these laws, and what he should do is sign some laws that make some citizens be able to help out. If you're a teacher and whatever, you can call CPA or not CPA, I'm sorry, whatever it's called, child protection and services, and report it, and then report it. And then when they finally come out, as long as at the time the child is clean and doesn't have bruises, and your house is clean, and the child is not going to say anything in front of the people that they're staying or living with, they'll just mark it and close the case. And that's what happened with both of these two girls. Similar abuse. People have reported it. People have come out, and then they say nothing's wrong, and this led to, now both of them are gone at 13. They didn't have a chance. They'd never had a chance. So in my mind, I'm like, how do we end it? How do we stop this? And if we had a group of people who are caring, who want to change their community, come together and try to change things. We're busy, we think other things are more important than sitting at the city council meetings, or sitting at the school board meetings, or sitting wherever and learning what's going on in your community, or learning what things we can change, or whatever. There's some highly intelligent people. I'm sure we can come up with something. If you see a child and you believe, and you see them with bruises all over them, or they lay on the floor and say they need to speak to a counselor, the law should be able to allow you to take them to the hospital, and let the hospital determine if they're an abused child or not. These kids are, this girl was screaming every day. She didn't want to go home. She was scared to go home. This is what was happening at home. And she got sent home every single day until she was unalived. And this man, who was supposedly her father, didn't just unalive her. He did it in a way that is the most evil, destructive thing I've ever heard. He left her in an abandoned house, cut off her hands, and almost decapitated her. All because he SA'd her. And I don't know if he had been doing it all a while and she said she was going to tell this time. I don't know. But the way that he did that poor baby, I can't even imagine. She was a 13-year-old baby and he inflicted this upon her. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't even want to talk anymore. I don't even want to go on and say anything anymore, because I feel like all I'm doing is upsetting me. And I don't know how to cope with some of the stuff. I watched a video of a little girl. I think she was 5, or she might have been 4. Just the most beautiful child. And I could see her mom was filming her, and I could see that it looked like the remnants of a black eye healing. I could see that. And her mom was, filming her to put her on whatever, Facebook or whatever. And I could tell that little girl was scared to death of her mother. I could see that. And then when her mom said, "What's wrong with you?" and she, I heard her voice, and then I heard the story that her mom took her life. And that stayed with me. It's still with me. I can't get her face and her voice out of my head. I'm going to have to end, but I just want to say that we should be tired of our people being hurt, unalived, beaten, violated, discriminated against. We should be tired enough that we don't want to see it anymore, that we want to stop it, that we want to stand up and have a voice, that we want to stand up and be there for one another, and stop being against ourselves. We really don't have a reason to fight, bicker. Men don't have a reason to disrespect women. Women don't have a reason to feel like men are worthless, they're bums, they don't do, there's no reason. But that we have been taught this. It gets put, when you watch stuff and there's little things that you don't even notice, and it gets put in your head and you don't know it, and you watch it over and over again, and it's there. We just don't know it. When you're told you're this and this is all you're going to be, and some people, that's what you believe, so that's what you go with. We have our people are the most we worry about the wrong things. That's what it is. We worry about having rims and cars and chains and outfits and weave and shoes and just everything. That's what we worry. That's what we live our lives to have. We don't think about stocks, bonds, having anything, land, paintings, art, just anything to to make generational wealth. We don't think about that. It's like we just live for today, tomorrow, and this weekend, because we're gonna get turned up this weekend. We might make it home, we might not, because when people get together and they drink and someone doesn't like someone, or someone's trying to talk to this woman and sometimes violence breaks out. This is what we do, and it needs to stop. We need to realize that we need to realize what real life is about. What real life is about. I read a story of this she was an old lady, and she wore the same, she was a white lady, she wore the same outfit every day, and then she used to wear this really funny looking wig, and her car was junky and it was all broke down, and people just laughed at her and thought, well, she's a what do they call them, bag ladies or whatever. And when she passed away, that woman had millions of dollars in the bank, and she had property. That's because she knew what life was about. As far as trying to, what's important, she didn't feel like, being dressed up nice was important, because she wore the same outfit every day. She didn't think having a Rolls Royce was important, because she could have. She drove a car that was barely drivable, because she knew what life was about. You're not going to be able to take any of those material things with you. Especially for blacks, I don't care how many things you acquire, you're still hated, just like the rest of us. We just need to get our priorities in order, and evidently our priorities with our children are way out of order. These kids are being preyed on. It's not their fault. They didn't ask to be here, just like we didn't ask to be here. But this is what's happening to them. They're being assaulted and then unalived. They're being left to raise themselves and to find a way on their own. They're going out on the streets because they don't find love at home, and so some little girl might be approached by an evil man, or some little boy approached, whatever. This is what we're subjecting them to. This is supposed to be our future. This is supposed to be the children that are going to make a difference in our world, and we're already going to be behind, going to, because we're putting out children that are going to be damaged adults if they make it through their childhood. They're going to be damaged adults, and so the cycle will continue. If you want the cycle to end, I ask you to make a difference in your community. Do just one thing. Just do. And some people don't know how much power they have. There are people walking around here that a lot of people look up to. They think, oh, if that one person would just, go out and start giving food to the homeless, the people that he looked at and be like, well, what's he doing? But then they would be like, they would want to do it too. If he's doing, he's cool, so maybe it's cool to go out and feed the one person can turn a few people around. Prayer, God can turn people's lives around. Prayer does wonders. Teaching your kids, taking your kids to church. I'm not saying that religion is the way. I'm saying having a relationship with God. There are churches that aren't functioning well. There are people out here who are preaching that should not be in the pulpit. I'm just saying, let them see, and you can investigate to find a good church. You don't have to go to the church because that's the church you were raised in, or that's the church that your mom took you. You don't have to do that. I don't call myself I'm not a Baptist. I'm not a whatever. I don't have a name. I don't have a church. I don't have a pastor. I worship. I go straight to the man, and that's God, because I want to know the truth. I don't want somebody else's truth. I don't want anything else. So I go to the man. I just want to say my last thing. Once again, I appreciate everybody who supports my channel. I know that it's not an exciting channel. It's not, the normal channel or whatever, but I appreciate all of you, every single one of you who share me out, or just give me just putting a little thing on my under my posts or whatever, under my uploads. I appreciate all of you, and I hope that God is keeping all of you well, and that you you have everything good going on in your life. And I will talk to you later.